Se você quer saber por que eu queria aprender português e espanhol, stay right there. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is Danik, and once again, we're here talking about being bilingual, trilingual, and all the experiences that go along with that. One thing in particular I wanted to talk about today, which was my personal reason for why I wanted to learn Portuguese and Spanish. All right, guys, so let's dive right on in. Okay, so exactly why did I want to learn Portuguese and Spanish? Well, the answer is really simple because the reason is the same for both languages. Both Spanish and Portuguese come from cultures that prioritize a sense of closeness, a sense of family, and a sense of affection. And one thing about it was as I began to encounter more natives, either from Brazil or from Latin America or wherever, I began to just feel so impressed with these cultures, so much so that I just made like a hard decision that I wanted to become a part of those experiences. Now, I'm an American, so of course, all of my life experiences have come from growing up in the American society. And here in America, our society is a bit more closed off, maybe even a little cold, I would say. Growing up here in America, you get used to the idea that you don't want to overstay your welcome with people. You don't want to get too close. You don't want to be too touchy with people. You always want to be mindful of other people's space and other people's time. That being the case, as Americans, we always kind of walk around with a sense of distance about ourselves. We don't want to get too close. We don't want to possibly either offend someone or maybe even make someone uncomfortable. So the first language I decided to learn, chapter 1, Espanol, Spanish, yes, sí. I remember when I first started learning Spanish, I didn't know a lot, but I had gotten a hold of some vocabulary words. I knew a lot of the basic greetings and whatnot. And so I was working as a server, and I kept coming across Mexican families who would come and sit in my section. So I'm a bit of an extrovert, so I decided to test out my Spanish to see how well I do. It was a great experience because as soon as I said just a few words, the whole entire table lit up, and it was like they immediately adopted me as their son, especially if I was talking to elders like a father figure or a mother figure. Oh, I was instantly in the family, and they just instantly started correcting my Spanish and explaining to me how I pronounce things. And they weren't doing it with a spirit of correction per se, but they were doing it in a spirit of love. And so I just really felt this bond with those tables. And so it was just like there was just no separation between us. It was like they were completely warm and open to me and willing to help. I was able to ask them all kinds of questions. They were just willing to help me out. And this wasn't an isolated incident. This happened every single time I had a table, a Mexican family, or maybe even a family from Central America that would come in, but especially Mexican families. I was just so moved by just the level of cariño. By me having those experiences, it really inspired me to keep going, and it really fueled me to just kind of keep pressing on toward the goal of really trying to be fluent in this language. And then chapter 2, I decided to learn Portuguese, and it has been an amazing adventure. One thing I'd like to say about Brazil is that it's very similar to the culture in Latin America. Both cultures share the cariño that they both have with just the affection towards one another. It's wonderful. But with Brazil, I honestly would like to say that Brazil takes things a step further, because when you encounter Brazilians are very relaxed. And that is the very opposite of how we are in America. In America, we're very tense, we're very stressed, and we're also programmed to be very suspicious of people, very doubtful of people's motives, and so we carry that around with us all the time. But if you go to Brazil, because the Brazilians are so relaxed, there's just this intrinsic trust that they have. So however you carry yourself, whatever you say, however you say it, they just trust it. They trust you. And you can feel the difference in the interaction, because just like you can feel the interaction when you're talking to someone who has up a lot of walls and they're kind of resisting you and pushing you away, it's the opposite. When you're speaking with Brazilians, since they are very relaxed and they don't have those walls, they don't have the suspicion, all of that stuff, you feel the difference. You feel a sense of acceptance. You feel a sense of reception that is very unique and very memorable. And so the reason I'm making a point of this is that I think we as human beings, all of us, on some level within us, we have that desire to want to feel accepted, to want to feel received by a public or a group or a family. And here in America, we kind of end up getting used to walking around with so many walls up that we forget that, we have that part of us within ourselves that would like to connect with people on a deeper level, or be able to just be ourselves and be completely relaxed and without any worries or fears of just being judged or this and that. But when I went to Brazil and I had this encounter, and I began to just, every time I spoke with someone, every time I was having an interaction, it was always just that sense of trust. It's just a very, very, very sincere exchange. And so this was something that was just very, very moving for me and has made me want to become a Brazilian. So if you do get a chance to visit Brazil, like I said, it is definitely worth going. And Brazil, in many ways, culturally, is kind of like the opposite or the reverse of America. Just as we here want to kind of be doubtful and suspicious of people and worrying that we might get hurt or misled, Brazil is the very opposite, where they're completely relaxed and they don't have up the walls and they just trust you, and you're allowed to just be yourself and say whatever you want to say. Alright guys, so that's it. I told you my reasons for why I wanted to learn these languages, both Spanish and Portuguese. And last thing that I would like to share with you guys is the fact that with both Spanish and Portuguese, they both present the reality that yes, it is still possible to have pure-hearted exchanges with people every day. These people are waking up, living, prioritizing their lives around family, prioritizing their lives around the friends that they love, interacting, being very touchy-feely, giving hugs, giving kisses. And so it has really opened my eyes to realizing that yes, you can have a lifestyle where you can have these real pure-hearted exchanges with people. As a language learner and as a global citizen, this has been a very, very important journey for me to have, so that I can learn and better myself as a person. And I think bettering myself as a person has a lot to do with understanding how to communicate from the heart, being sincere, being honest, and making and basing my life and my relationships on that truth. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got anything out of it, please leave a like, comment below, and click on the subscribe button and hit the bell, just so that you can stay up on all the latest updates that I do here on this video. And I don't know what all that was, but it's all good. Okay, all right guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.